Hey everyone, welcome to Ethiopia, a country in East Africa. It's special because it's where some of the very first humans lived. Like, way back. It's like a living history book with stories from ancient empires, different cultures, and amazing landscapes. Visiting Ethiopia is like traveling through time from the very beginning of humans to today. It's also one of the only places in Africa that wasn't taken over by other countries a long time ago, so it kept its own special traditions. There are 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which are like super important historical places, and the land here is incredible. There are huge mountains, hot deserts, and green valleys. Plus, there are over 80 different groups of people, each with their own language and ways of doing things. You can see all this diversity in their music, dancing, and food. Oh, and they make beautiful things too, like woven fabrics, pottery, and metal art. Ethiopia has seen lots of powerful empires come and go, and they left behind some amazing buildings and ruins. 3 of the coolest places to see this are Aksum, Lalibela, and Gondar. Aksum, in northern Ethiopia, was the center of a really powerful kingdom a long time ago. You can still see tall stone pillars, carvings, and the remains of old palaces. There's even a legend that the Ark of the Covenant, a super important religious artifact, was kept in Aksum. Lalibela is another amazing place in northern Ethiopia. It's famous for its churches that were carved right out of the rock like 1,000 years ago. It's hard to believe they could do that. The most famous one is shaped like a cross. Then there's Gondar, which was the capital city about 400 years ago. It has castles, palaces, and churches that show a mix of different styles from Ethiopia, Portugal, and India. You can see beautiful carvings and paintings that give you an idea of how fancy the royal family lived. One of the best things about Ethiopia is that there are so many different groups of people, each with its own traditions. 2 of the most interesting are the Afar and Hamar tribes. The Afar people live in the Danakil depression, one of the hottest places on earth. They move around with their animals and are super tough. They also get salt from the ground, which is a big part of their lives. The Afar have a really cool style with long flowing clothes and beautiful jewelry. The Hamar tribe lives in southwestern Ethiopia. They also raise animals, and cows are really important to them, like a sign of how rich you are. They have a special tradition where young men have to jump over a line of bulls to become adults. Pretty intense. The Hamar women also have amazing hairstyles with braids decorated with butter and special clay. Ethiopia's landscapes are incredible. There's everything from the super hot Danakil desert to the tall Simien mountains. The Danakil depression is one of the hottest and most active places on Earth, with volcanoes, bubbling lava, and huge areas of salt. There's even a volcano called Ale that has a lake of lava that's always there. Then there are the Simien Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means it's super special. There are huge mountains, steep cliffs, and deep valleys. You can see special animals there that don't live anywhere else, like the Gelada baboon and the Ethiopian wolf. It's a great place to go hiking. The Great Rift Valley, a giant crack in the earth, also goes through Ethiopia. It has lakes, volcanoes, and hot springs. There's also Awash National Park in the Rift Valley, where you can see zebras, gazelles, and ostriches. Did you know coffee comes from Ethiopia? The story goes that a goat herder named Kaldi saw his goats acting really energetic after eating berries from a special tree, and that's how coffee was discovered. Today, coffee is a huge part of Ethiopian culture. They have special coffee ceremonies where people get together and chat. They roast the beans over a fire, then grind them up and brew the coffee in a special clay pot. They brew it 3 times, and each brew has a different name and strength. They serve it in small cups, sometimes with sugar and sometimes with butter and salt. In Ethiopia, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a way of showing you're friendly and welcoming, and it's a big part of their traditions.